Hey guys, welcome to Spotted Hyena. My name's Steve, and today we're going to be taking a look at Docker Compose. So what is Docker Compose? Well, simply put, Docker Compose is a tool that allows you to define and run multi-container Docker applications, removes the need to build each container individually, and it removes the requirement for really long commands using just Docker run. By using a Docker Compose file, it contains all of your configuration in YAML format, and it can be executed with one simple command. So let's have a look, and we'll jump in and start looking at setting up and installing Docker Compose. So starting off, we'll be looking at the example from the last tutorial where we created a couple of containers and set up a WordPress site. So the first thing we're going to do is just make sure there's no containers on there at the moment. So we do docker ps, and we can see there's none there, and docker ps-l to make sure, and we can see there is an old MariaDB, so we'll remove that. And the old WordPress one's there as well, so we'll remove that with docker rm WordPress. And we'll just do it one more time to make sure there's no other images there. So there's another WordPress one. And there we go, we've got no more images. So clear the screen. And now we need to first off run a few commands to install some required applications. So if we do sudo yum install -y epel-release, this will install the enterprise Linux that's required. We'll just wait for that to install, and we'll be back in a sec. Okay, so I already had that installed on this image, so we'll carry on. So now we need to do install python pip. Press enter, and it'll install that. Mine's already there. And then we need to do sudo pip install --upgrade pip. So this will upgrade pip to the latest version. Mine's already up to date. And then we want to do sudo pip install docker-compose. And mine's already installed. And then last but not least, we'll just make sure that Python is up to date. So sudo yum upgrade Python start and press enter. And this will just check that Python is on the latest version. So we need to upgrade ours, so we'll do that. Alright, so now that our updating is finished, we'll go ahead and create our Docker Compose file. So first, if we do vi docker-compose.yml, if you use the docker-compose file name, then it means that when you run the docker compose command, you actually have one less variable to input. So we'll do that. And then we want version 3. And the reason we use version 3 is that's the latest version that you are able to use. And services. So services is where your container configuration will be. And then we'll put our first container, which is MariaDB. And then we'll have container _name : mywp-mariadb. So as you can see, I'm putting spaces before these, and that's just to say that underneath services we have MariaDB. So MariaDB is part of services, and then container name is for MariaDB. And you'll see as we add the WordPress container that sits in the same line as the MariaDB, so you'll see that further up. So now we'll do the image :MariaDB. We'll restart always. So restart always basically means that whenever your server reboots, the containers will automatically be brought online by Docker. And then we'll create our volumes. So you can see the volumes are the same as they were for our Docker commands that we ran manually, but you have volumes, and then underneath them you put your actual volume. So if you wanted more volumes, you would basically do the same here, and then you'd put /var/ and so on, and you just keep adding them as many as you needed. And then we'll put our environment variables in. So for our environment variables, we'll do mysql_root_password, and then here we do equals instead of a colon, my-secret-password, and we need mysql_database equals WordPress, and mysql_user equals wp-user, mysql_password equals password1. So here you can see that we put all of our environment variables under one environment command, whereas before we did them under multiple -e commands, so you'd have -e underneath each variable. Here we can just do environment and then put all of our environment variables underneath that, so it makes it a little bit easier to kind of know what environment variables are there. It's a little easier to read. And then we'll create our network, which is wp-backend. So our network we created in our previous tutorial, but I'll show you at the end of this file how we actually go about creating the network if, for example, you just move this Docker Compose file onto your production server or onto another testing server, or giving it to one of your colleagues, for example. So now we'll create our WordPress server, our container, and you'll see most of these commands are the same. There's a few that are slightly different. Put our restart in, put our volumes in, now that we've got our volume in, we'll put a new command in, which is ports. So we need to open up the ports for WordPress out into the internet so that you can connect to it, and you do that basically the same, rather than -p and then the ports, you just put ports, similar to environment variables. You can add multiple ports if you need to. And then we'll do our environment variables. And then equals my-MariaDB, so it'll pull that through from the container name across our WordPress backend network. We'll create our WordPress user again. And our password. so that it knows how to connect to the database. And then we'll say it depends on, and in here we'll put our MariaDB instance. So depends on basically means that if my WordPress MariaDB isn't up and running, it won't start WordPress until it gets the OK and my WordPress MariaDB says that it's healthy. This will not do anything, and then once it's healthy, WordPress will start up. And now we need to create our network. So the reason we need to create our network, oh hang on a minute, we've forgotten to add our network onto our WordPress DB. And there we go. So as I said earlier, our networks may not be created on a new server or our live server, because we're just rolling out a new application, so we'd need to create that. And by doing this command here, networks and then the name of our network, we're basically saying if the network isn't there, then create it. And we'll do the same for volumes as well, because our volumes may not be there. And then this command will basically say if they're not there, create them. And we'll come out of that now. And then if we type docker-compose and then up and press enter, it should load it, but it appears that I've typed something wrong, so we'll just go through and see what's wrong with this. Right, okay, I see we've missed. Yeah, so we've missed our column off of here, so it needs to be version :3. So we'll just escape again, run that again. And there we go. So you can see that it's creating our network. So because the network already existed, it looks like it's recreating it. It's now getting our MariaDB up and running and our WordPress up and running. So as you can see, it's built all of this in the foreground. So, you know, we can't run any more commands or anything like that, which is not ideal for anyone who wants to run additional commands. However, if we head over to our server, you can see there we've just had the get commands appear. And if I jump across to my web browser, you can see that it's all up and running. So we'll just create some test stuff here. And we'll install that. And now our site is up and running. And we'll just go back to that. So you can see, there we go, it's all up and running. So again, like with Docker, when we ran our Docker command, we added a -d to the end of it to make sure that it would always launch the instances detached. We can do exactly the same here. So we can just do docker-compose up -d, just like this, and then we can press enter. And there we go, that's started our instances. So if I do docker ps, you can see they're up and running. And if I jump back across here and we refresh our page, you will see that our WordPress site is up and running and working. And now I can do docker-compose down, and that will stop our WordPress instance and our MariaDB instance. And we can go back here, restart our web browser, and you can see it stopped working. So you notice it will also remove any, it will remove WordPress, it will remove your MariaDB, and it will remove your network as well. But the only thing it won't remove is your volumes, because they are persistent. And if we did Docker volume list, you can see that it's created the additional volumes there with root before the name. So thanks for watching this video. Hopefully it's been useful. If it has, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. If you've got any questions, stick them in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And keep an eye out for my next video. Thanks a lot, and see you next time.